Hello and welcome to another episode of Movies That Make Us. I'm Jake.
I'm Tracy.
And I'm Val, and I didn't get the memo that we were putting our
I just assumed you guys were going to do call signs, so
our
I did.
call signs. I need to change mine now. Like,
All right.
I used the official Top Gun. What's
the app? I did mine too at the movie. How do I?
I didn't do mine. Whoa.
Do you want to start over?
No.
If you click on the three dots by your picture,
Okay,
and then edit
tutorial.
name.
Oh, okay.
I didn't do an official one, so I'm just gonna make one up. I hope that's okay.
That's okay.
Hope I spelled mine right.
I said that I wanted to be aggressive, but yet stealthy, so it gave me vapor. Ooh, avalanche.
That was mine. I think it's because I'm just a big mess all the time.
Jake, take that down.
I cause problems.
Why?
Yeah, that's not.
You don't like that one?
No.
All right. I'll change it.
Bob. You could be Bob.
Call sign Bob. I think your call sign Smiles. Like that's
Smiles?
That's
All
a good
right.
one. Yeah.
I'll do this one then.
Smiley. I like it.
All right. We'll
Avalanche,
go with
Smiley, and Vapor. Welcome.
Right.
I already know
what we're going to talk about.
Vapor, I already know that I'm going to get probably the hate mail today with what I'm going to say about this. But can I throw something out? I don't usually talk about new movies on this show.
Right.
But coming up on Wednesday, it's already in theaters now, but on Wednesday, there's a movie that's going to be on Netflix with Adam Sandler.
Oh.
And it's called Hustle. And it's based on a true story. And I love sports movies. It's about basketball. But Adam Sandler is fantastic in it. It is not Happy Gilmore. It's not Uncut Gems. It's this happy medium in the middle. Lots of heart. Queen Latifah plays his wife. I know that seems really odd, but it works for some reason. But I just want to say I gave it a B+, and you can sit at home, watch it on Netflix, and it was so good.
All right.
Cool.
I know we all love sports movies.
Yeah.
So
we do.
And
I'm not a big Adam Sandler fan, but I thought Uncut Gems was okay. So
yeah.
I'll give
this is the thing about Uncut Gems, and I think we've talked about it before, is that I really enjoyed the movie, but I hesitate telling people to watch it because it's so stressful. It gives me a stomach ache even thinking about watching it again because the whole time he's just like this and you end up being like this the whole time. Yeah. And it's just so stressful that I can't. It's one of those that I thought was so great, but I can't watch it again because I'm going to get an ulcer if I do.
All right. Adam Sandler, I think has really kind of hit that point in his career where he's going to do what he wants, and he wants to do more serious roles. And from what I understand, he does pretty good with them when he plays those roles, and he gets the right story.
But he also, his company produced the movie as well. And if you're at all a basketball fan, which I thought you are, he plays Stanley Barron.
Don't recognize the name though.
But he basically, and I don't know if that's a made up character, but like there's a whole bunch of actual basketball players in the movie. And so basically Adam Sandler's character, he is a scout for the 76ers, but he wants to be an assistant coach. And so he's trying, and then he finally gets to be the assistant coach. But a new guy ends up owning the team, and he's like, but we need you out getting us a player. And if you can bring us back a player that's going to make us win, you can be back as an assistant coach. And so it's kind of one of those things where it's a little bit of a, what's that other Tom Cruise movie where he's a sports guy?
Moneyball?
No, he's
no.
Brad Pitt. Jerry Maguire.
Jerry Maguire.
Yes.
It's like
I know Moneyball is Brad Pitt. I was thinking, show me the money, and I said Moneyball really fast, and that's not right. Yes,
but it's basically like, how far will you go, knowing that what you're doing is right and what someone else is doing is wrong.
Yeah.
Like, how far will you keep doing something you don't enjoy to go against what you think is right? Like that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And I don't know how to say this guy's name. It's Juanco Hernan Gomez. I think he's an actual basketball player. He plays Bo Cruz. But Ben Foster is in it. Aaron Gordon.
I like Ben Foster.
Wow.
And then they talk about like the jazz. They have jazz players in it. You also have Robert Duvall is in it.
Oh,
So
all right.
Well, that's all I need in a movie. Jazz players and Robert Duvall. Sign me up. Like I'm sold.
Bucket list check off.
There's a bunch of people in it. So the guy who plays Urkel is in it, but obviously he's not Urkel anymore. He's actually a really good actor.
Yeah.
But it's just I'm a sucker for a good sports movie, and this kind of goes in a different way. And I just really enjoyed it. And the guy that plays the main basketball player, again, I just totally slaughtered his name. Yeah. He's really good. He's really good. So
all right. I'm checking it out on Wednesday.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
And we've got some fun, exciting news before we jump into the.
We need to share this.
Yeah.
So on July 21st, we are partnering up with Broovies and with FanX, which is the formerly Salt Lake Comic Convention. And we're going to be doing, the three of us, a charity screening of Sharknado. I'm finally getting you guys to watch this movie.
And we are so thrilled about watching the movie. We are thrilled about raising money to fight cancer.
Yes.
That we are thrilled about.
All proceeds go to the American Cancer Society. $15 to get you into the movie, get you a raffle ticket. There's more raffle items to purchase. We do have from FanX 2 Thursday passes and signed autograph from Ian Ziering and from Tara Reid.
Wow, that's awesome.
And it took me a minute when you shared that with us, Tracy, to remember why that was impactful, because they're actually in Sharknado.
They are.
You're
in
like,
the movie.
why
I want either? But then I realized why.
Former guests of the convention.
Yes,
and the convention
they
got
are.
a few extra signed photographs and donated them over to us. So,
and it's very
I
gracious.
still feel bad that I let
generous.
you down last year when I was offered to moderate the panel with Tara Reid, and I was like, I don't want to be in that mess. When you pick, the thing is that I had Tara Reid or now I can't remember Roseanne's ex-husband,
Tom Arnold.
Tom Arnold.
Yeah.
So when you have to choose between Tara Reid and Tom Arnold,
for you it was the right choice. Yes.
But like they're both have had their moments of being a hot mess, right? But I had to choose Tom Arnold because I knew I could control him a little bit.
I don't think there's any controlling there.
I think,
but I also think fans of hers and the shows that she's in, like, you really got to know, and I don't know. I didn't want to be that person that is asking questions that I don't know or care about.
Yeah, we should have told Blake, hey, you need to get Tracy to come and moderate this. He's available.
Yeah, if that ever happens to me again, I will make sure.
I don't think they'll ever let me moderate anybody of any stature.
Why not?
Why
not?
I don't know. Just
they let me in. Like, I don't even know how. I'm in there.
I can't think of a more delightful moderator than you, Tracy. Like, you would be so kind to the celebrity. You'd be respectful. You're knowledgeable. You'd ask great questions, more than just like, so you were in this movie. How was that? Like,
it'd be like Chris Farley when he was.
No, it wouldn't. Come on.
But this is what makes a good moderator, is someone that doesn't think that the panel is all about them. As a moderator, you're there to bring the best out of your guests or your panel. And I think you do a really great job at that, as you really pay attention to what people know and you know how to highlight that. Whereas sometimes I go in and you're watching a panel and you're like, oh, it's all about the moderator and the guests don't even have a lot of time to talk about anything.
Yeah.
You know, so I think you do great.
I have been to some of those panels. No one in this
We've been to
group
the
has
same
moderated.
one.
Yeah, I think so. And they were awful. Like it is so it's cringy. You're just like, I want to leave.
So anyway, July 21st, it's a
Yeah.
Thursday.
I like how he moves on so quickly.
Just gonna slide over here.
Yeah.
But yes, we're very excited. All proceeds go to the American Cancer Society, which is a big personal charity for me. And thank you guys for being a part of it. I'm very excited.
So 4 tickets to that. They're at the door. Is that correct? Where they will buy them?
Correct. Yep.
And it's first come, first served. Do you know how many
First
seats
come,
are
first
in the
served,
theater?
153. So
okay. So like we got to
can-
show up early.
if we can fill the theater.
Yep. And an important note about Broovies, I think it's 21 and over because they do serve alcohol there.
Yep,
so
you don't have to drink if you don't want to. There's a bar if you want, but just come and enjoy the movie. And
if you've got teenage kids that like Sharknado, just sorry, because it's
too bad.
Sorry.
This one it's just for mom and dad. So. Or mom and mom, or dad and dad. It's June, so we'll go
get a
with
bunch
Pride
of
Month.
people who have maybe had a few drinks before the movie and who are in the mood to laugh. This could be a fun night.
I'm excited. This is probably the only way that I'm going to enjoy seeing Sharknado is in a big group of people who are there. And depending on how this goes, we may do it again. We may have a running theme of bad movies for a good cause, and just maybe the next one will be Rubber or something like that.
Yeah, don't tease me. Don't tease me like that.
That one I could do like a panel discussion afterwards.
We should. That's the thing is we should do like a Sharknado live episode after or something like that.
Yeah.
We've got the theater from 7 to 10, so
yeah, we should. And I have to say, like, I'm still getting stuff sent in from the movie studios to I have wands from the new whatever the wizard movie
Fantastic Beasts.
Fantastic
Secrets
Beasts.
of Dumbledore, which I mean sounds like erotic fan fiction for Harry Potter more than anything else.
I thought it was a really good movie. So
was it? I haven't seen it yet, and I need to. I like Harry Potter.
It's on HBO Max now, so you can just watch that at home.
I know,
if you have HBO Max.
We've talked about it, my wife and I, because she's a big Harry Potter fan as well. So we need to watch it.
I'm a muggle.
I know.
And see, I'm an okay Harry Potter fan. I've never read any of the books, but I've seen the movies, and I just really thought it had a lot of heart. But anyway, so I have prizes from that. I have prizes from James Bond movie. I've got prizes from a ton of movies. Like I have 3 boxes of stuff for you, Tracy.
Aww.
Just to give stuff away. So
awesome. It'll be a fun night.
I'm putting together a personal coupon book that I'm going to write the things on with crayon.
Jake
will give you one free hug from Jake.
Jake, you're going to help me put these prize packs together.
I would be
what
happy
we're going to do.
Yep. I'm excited to be part of it, and I'm excited to be there. I think it's going to be a great experience.
We are a team.
We are a team. Cancer.
But it's exciting. We do have some great prizes, and we're very grateful to Val for providing some, to FanX. We've had some others I think that people have talked about. So it'll be.
We have some tattoo certificates from my husband as well.
That is super nice. That guy is super talented. So get yourself a raffle ticket for a great tattoo. The Great Room Escape up in Layton is going to give some passes, and that is phenomenal. That I got to tell you guys, that is like the Disneyland level of escape rooms. Like other ones, you're like, that's okay, but this is like Disneyland quality, like special effects and the craftsmanship. And they had one that was a ghost one for a while that looked like something out of the Haunted Mansion. It's really cool.
Wow, that's cool.
Now I want to go there too.
Hey, let's do it.
My list of things to do is growing here. So, well, it's going to be a lot of fun. July 21st, 7 p.m. Sharknado with the Movies That Make Us group. I mean, honestly, if you listen to the show, on some level, you've always wanted to watch a movie with us. So come and do it.
And we always say we won't see you at the movies, but this is like the one chance where we will see you.
We will see you at the movies. Yes.
Are we going to have stickers there to do we have? I have a pile of stickers left.
I still have a bunch of stickers.
Okay.
Yep.
So you could possibly get yourself a free Movies That Make Us sticker just for showing up.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, again, fighting cancer. Like, if nothing else sells you on this, like you don't want to watch a movie with us, you don't want to see Sharknado, we are fighting cancer. So please come and get a ticket.
If you aren't able to attend, we'll put the link to the fundraiser on the website. You guys can click over and just donate if you want. 100% of the proceeds go to American Cancer Society. There's no profit in this for me at all. This is all charity.
Yeah. So exciting, fun stuff. I'm excited. It'll be
It'll
great.
be good. We've talked about this for a while. So
yeah, we have, like, we were getting ready to gear up to do more stuff like this, and then the whole world fell apart. So I'm glad we're finally doing something like this. So because the world's fine now.
Oh, it's totally fine.
Yeah,
everything's back to normal.
Nothing to worry about.
Nothing to see here. Move along.
Nothing to see here. Everything's fine.
You know what will make you feel better about the world, though? Watching Sharknado, because you think it could be worse, but you could have sharks in tornadoes.
With shark tornadoes, yes.
Yeah.
See, and if we build on this, the sequels get crazier. This is a mild one. They get crazier.
Tracy, I'm watching this one with you.
I'm making no commitment.
Like I've said in past episodes, I turned the TV on one day. I watched a shark jump into an airplane,
kill
Will Wheaton, and I thought to myself, there could be nothing better than this. And I changed the channel. If I was going to see anything, that was all I needed to see.
That is the film that I would show you. I think it's 3, but I could be wrong. But Tara Reid goes Bruce Campbell, Evil Dead, and gets a chainsaw attached to her hand. It's pretty epic. Nick Nolte's her dad.
I mean, that makes perfect sense in real life and on the big screen.
It's all coming together now.
At some point, they go to space. They go back in time. There's all sorts of crazies.
What?
Yeah. There's a whole universe. You don't even know.
And you guys make fun of me in Fast 5, like Fast and Furious. Like,
well, now,
I don't even want to hear anything about Fast and Furious.
Tracy may have given up his high ground by talking about all this, but I am not the Sharknado fan, so I am still going to give both of you a hard time for these movie franchises. I still have the high ground a little bit, maybe.
Okay. All right, we'll find your weak point.
I'm sure it's out there. I'm not going to help you by giving you hints, but I'm sure it's out there.
Erica.
Top Gun Maverick.
We are, if you can tell by our call names, we are going to talk about Top Gun Maverick. Just came out Memorial Day weekend and seems to be a pretty big hit. Best opening for Memorial Day weekend, I think, ever.
Best opening for Tom Cruise, which blew me away. He had never had $100 million opening weekend before, which that threw me for a loop.
It did, but
like I think none the only reason Impossibles, I thought some of those would.
Yeah, but I think the bulk of those came out before like hitting $100 million on opening weekend.
Probably.
Like, if it's pre-MCU, like that's really when that started happening more, I think, that you'd have the big weekends. But I agree, it was still surprising. Like he should have like multiple $100 million weekends.
Yeah.
But this was a huge opening and people are seeming to love it. I've seen a lot of people give it a lot of, positive comments that they really liked it a lot. Somebody said on one of my TikTok interactions that it was the best movie in the last 10 years.
I don't know that
I would say that,
but I will say this was the best in-camera photography capturing crazy stuff since Mad Max Fury Road, because almost all of Mad Max was legit in camera. There are people like pole vaulting over moving vehicles and semi trailers flipping over and exploding, and this is as close to that as I've seen in a while. So
I mean, it was the butt of all jokes for like the film critics I know, and I'm sure a lot of non-film critics is like, we'll believe this movie's coming out when we're actually sitting down and watching it. It's been pushed back and pushed back. But the thing is that Tom Cruise really fought for actual in-camera action. Like all the scenes that you see of them in the planes getting their faces pushed back, like they're in there. Those cameras are in those planes and everybody had to get in there. And so during COVID, like they had to follow a lot of protocol to get that done. They had to take a lot of breaks. It costs a lot of money to actually use government planes. And to do like, there's just a ton more protocol. But the fact that he fought for that is one of the biggest reasons that people are loving this movie so much. And so people kept on getting angry. And
Yeah.
now we see
there's a reason
why it was so important. And also
Well-
because this movie was shot in IMAX mode with
Yeah.
cameras on
I
the
can't
outsides and
believe-
insides of the plane. So
I don't
both
know
him
how
and
they
the
did that.
both
Yeah.
him and the director said this has to be in theaters.
Yeah.
Like this cannot be. This is made for a big screen, an IMAX screen, and if you haven't seen it in
Even if
IMAX,
you have
do it.
Even if you have an 80-inch TV at home, don't wait to see it at home. See it in the theater.
Yeah.
See it on
Yeah.
the big screen for
It-
sure.
If you're a fan of Top Gun, you need to go see this in the theaters.
Mhm.
Even if you're not a fan of Top Gun and you're just like, go see it in the theater. I
Yeah.
don't know. To me, this is going to be very similar to Avatar. Like seeing it in the theater in 3D was an experience. And the new one
Right.
that's coming out, it's going to be the same thing. Seeing it in the theater is an experience. Watching it at home is glorified
different
Fern
experience.
Gully.
Yeah.
And
You're
it's just
absolutely
a
right.
different experience. And I don't know that this will be to the same degree, but I think in a large part, like being in the theater, being on IMAX, feeling the action and everything else, it was just incredible, more
Yeah.
than
So
it would have been at home.
I went on opening weekend and people were like fist pumping in the audience and people were applauding and cheering. I took my dad and my brother yesterday because they hadn't seen it, and we're sitting in the Cinemark theater, and we're, you know, the lady next to me is kind of an older lady, and she's reclined, so she's got the recliner seat up, and this killed me. So when the jets were jumping in a little bit into the spoiler territory, but when the jets are making their approach for the big fight scene, right? They're
Mhm.
flying over the ocean and they're starting to climb up the mountain and do the canyon run. And this lady slowly starts to pull her legs up and she curls up into the fetal position and she is hugging her knees and she stays that way until the movie ends. I'm like, well done. Well done.
My wife, who gives me a hard time when I watch a movie because I often will get emotional depending on the movie. And there were definitely some moments where I kind of got the goosebumps and stuff like that in this movie, just because Top Gun has been such a big part of my life
Mhm.
growing up and everything. But she said the guy next to her, because we were in a pretty full theater, it was opening weekend as well. She said the guy next to her multiple times throughout the movie was like wiping the tears from his eyes because he was that into it.
Wow.
And she's like, yeah, he was obviously like enjoying it because it was that. And I think there's just a lot of people who that's how this movie feels for them.
Mm-hmm. And I this is, like you said, Jake, this is such an experience in that you get the cheering, you just can feel the excitement of the audience, and that's a lot of fun. And I miss that for a lot of movies, so it's kind of fun to get that back again. I'm like, this is why we gather together and sit in a room and watch stuff together, because we get this kind of experience.
Yeah, it reminds me, because we talked a little bit about it being pushed back, and this was originally slated to come out in July of 2020. It was supposed to be 4th of July weekend, and then it got pushed back. And it reminds me of Tenet, which also was pushed back, and then they finally released it. And this one to me feels more like, this was absolutely the right call. This was really. And the perspective was, you know, I don't know about you guys, at the beginning of the movie, we had Tom Cruise on screen talking about, hey, we're really excited for you to see this in the theater because you need to experience it in the theater. And that kind of is the feeling that you have to experience this in the theater, not just we need to get the returns on this in the theater, but you guys have to experience it in the theater. And I feel like that was very much the right call with this movie.
Well, I mean, it's crazy how much the technology has changed, because it used to be the IMAX cameras were like car sized, and then they were, you know, they're big cumbersome machines because it's taking in so much data and so much information. And the fact that they were able to scale that down and get that into the cockpits and shoot and attach them to these planes. And when they're flying like next to the canyon walls and you see snow flying because they're so close, they're flying over the water and you see the water spray. It's like, that's legit happening. That's not somebody manipulating a keyboard to make that happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's incredible. It's not without its flaws, though. I think it's important that we talk about, like, it was a fun movie. It was everything I wanted it to be as far as
Yes.
the excitement, as far as a Memorial Day opening movie. Like, this to me was kind of the return of the big summer blockbusters, because we didn't
Mhm.
have anything last year that I felt like was this magnitude. And so it feels like, okay, we're getting back to a little bit of normalcy at the theater with this. This and Spider-Man No Way Home are probably the two that I really feel like kind of brought it back a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But like the original Top Gun, there are some holes in the story. Like, it's not, some of the character development is missing a little bit, but at the end of the day, all of that I don't care, because they're flying around in F-18s and it looks really cool, so it's fine.
Well, and I think back too, because I remember when this came out, when the original came out in theaters and was such a big deal. And I remember there was my sister had a gymnastics meet, and we had traveled out to California, and the team was going to get together and watch Top Gun. And my parents were debating whether or not to let her see it because there was this sex scene in it. And
Yes.
so it was like this big controversy. But I remember, like, because I didn't see it until it came out on VHS. I didn't see it in the theater, I don't think. But this was like the coolest movie at the time. Like, this was the definition of what was cool. All of a sudden, everybody wanted the aviator glasses.
Mhm.
Everybody wanted to sign up and join the Navy. And I like the fact that this one was a more kind of mature take on that story. And it could have been a little bit more of the, like, Maverick has matured, and he's still Maverick. He's still the
Mhm.
wild card, but there's some weight to him now that there wasn't before, which I thought was good.
Yeah, there was. I feel like I don't know.
I think there was definitely more heart to him in this movie than the original movie.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
I really like that they showed his emotional side, and that something like that, what happened to, his best friend, it doesn't leave you. It weighs on you for the rest of your life. And the fact that he felt responsible, and he also felt responsible that he needed to protect his son, is something very real, which I think a lot of people that serve feel that weight as well. You know what I mean? So for me, I really liked, because you don't often see Tom Cruise. I was trying to think to myself, how many times have I seen Tom Cruise actually cry in a movie?
Yeah.
And I think the only time where he gets even a little bit close to crying in a movie is Jerry Maguire.
Uh-huh.
But he doesn't actually cry all the way.
Yeah.
Whereas and I could be wrong, but I went through my mind of movies, and I'm like, he's actually crying in this movie. Like, that for me is seeing him in so many movies throughout the years,
Mhm.
And I'm not a huge Tom Cruise fan. I don't hate him or anything. I'm a huge Tom Cruise movie fan. I do I think he does a really good job at choosing the right projects for his talents. He's been in a lot of really good movies. He's, sometimes I'm like, well, whatever, Tom Cruise is in it, but I know it's going to be a good action film. It'll have good, it's a good action film. It's not always the best story, but it's going to be a good action film.
Yeah.
And so for me, I didn't really care about the plot holes as much, because I went to see a good action film, and I got a good action film that also had more heart than I ever expected. And this is where the hate mail comes in. I think it's better than the original.
I agree with that.
I think it's better
I'm gonna
than
get some hate mail too.
I think it's better than the original. I didn't expect it to be that way, because I am not a huge Miles Teller fan.
I'm not either.
Oh, interesting.
For me, he's either hit or miss. Like, he's either really, really good in something, or he is so just like I don't know. Like, sometimes I feel like some of the ways that he acts for the characters is just exactly how you would expect somebody to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not super creative. It's like, okay,
it doesn't bring anything to the role.
Yeah, and so for this role, I really thought that he's grown up as an actor. It wasn't that meaty of a role for him compared to some of the other things that he's done.
Right.
But I think that he played this character so well, and you could tell that he did his homework, because his gestures and the way that he moves in this movie is exactly like, obviously his dad in the movie. I can't think of his name right now.
Anthony Edwards.
From ER, but also in this movie.
Right.
He has very specific characteristics. And I'm like, okay, when he walks in and he's got the mustache, I'm like, okay, is this going to be that again? Like, okay, I just have a mustache, so of course I'm this guy's son. I'm like, this is another But then
when everybody else is dressed in their full Navy,
and he's in the
suits, and he's in the Hawaiian shirt.
Kept on clothes and now wore them to the thing. Is what it looked like.
Yeah, but then
because it was a Hawaiian shirt. Yeah,
but then like he really surprised me, and I have a lot of respect for how he played this character. You could tell that he was a little bit of his character's dad, and a little bit of Maverick, because he's been raised by both of these people. And when he was playing the piano, I thought that scene was for him. Some of the background characters were a little cheesy. But for him, my eyes couldn't leave him.
Right.
And then and this is there are going to be some spoilers. We gave you enough time to kind of watch it. We're not going to give everything away, but there's one of my favorite scenes is he's in there playing the piano. Maverick has been kicked out of the bar, and he's outside having this moment of like, yeah, he's been kicked out of the bar, but he's also been kicked out of this kid's life. There is this wall between them, literally and metaphorically and emotionally and all of these things. And just those little things, those little moments for me. And then Jennifer Connelly's character sees that and realizes, okay, there's, everybody just thinks he's Maverick.
Right.
He's okay all the time. He's
got
this cool guy.
Right.
And even he thinks that most of the time. And then he gets hit with these moments where it hits him really hard. And I really think that they did that scene really well. And the flashbacks, of course, they're going to do flashbacks. But sometimes when you see flashbacks in movies, it's too much. Like, okay, but I felt like they were timed very well, and just in the right moments. So I really was surprised with Miles and really thought he did a great job.
I like what you said, Val, about how they kind of give Maverick these little knockdowns. So there's that. There's the scene where he jumps out of Jennifer Connelly's bedroom.
I loved that so much.
But that girl is just like, don't break her heart again.
Yeah. And your kids always know. If you're dating right now, I got to tell you, your kids know. They know what you're doing. Like,
and your kids know who's good and who's not for you.
Yeah.
But I love that. Speaking of the scene where he jumps out of the window, this would have been one that your parents would have been okay with your sister going to see, because they replaced the sex scene with him and Jennifer Connelly just kind of chatting in bed and connecting, which I think was a great way to show that maturity and growth that Maverick has had as a character, where he has this opportunity to be with a beautiful woman, but he's connecting with her on a deeper level than just physically.
Yeah. This is going to be my other hate mail thing, is that I think Jennifer Connelly did a way better job and is a way better connection for him than McGillis, than Kelly McGillis.
No hate mail for me on this take.
No, I was going to say...
I'm not throwing her under the bus or anything. At the time, she was good, but I think the chemistry and the acting, because her story isn't as meaty as Kelly McGillis's story. She had a better storyline. But what Jennifer Connelly brought to this very thin paper storyline, she brought the weight to it. She brought you could relate to this story. As a woman, I related to it, as a mother, I related to it, as, just somebody that cares about someone else that is hurting, that won't, I feel like she just made it so relatable, because they didn't give her much. That's where Smiley, that's where I feel like there's some holes, as they're like, hey, who can bring some gravitas to this very small written character?
And without a story, we're just going to kind of throw her in there. and she does
but
great.
I like that they didn't bring back Meg Ryan or Kelly McGillis, because then to me it's too nostalgic heavy. Like,
Right.
one of the complaints with the Force Awakens was that it was just basically retelling the plot of A New Hope, which it kind of was, and in a lot
Which
of ways,
this was
Top
too.
Gun Maverick is a retelling of Top Gun. But what you're doing is you're like using the nostalgia, but then you're moving past that and you're introducing new story.
They did the nostalgia really, really well in this, because they do it through tones and beats in the movie. Like the opening scene, I was bought into this movie from the minute that you start hearing the Top Gun theme and you've got the jets getting ready to take off, and it is so much like the original. I had goosebumps, and I was like, "That's it." The rest of this movie could be crap, but I am in 110% on this movie. But there were other points too, like when he's in the bar, and they're all giving him a hard time, and they throw him out and everything else because he couldn't pay the tab because he kept his cell phone on the whole thing. And then the next day when he shows up as the teacher, that is so reminiscent to when he sings the song to her in the bar, and then she shows up and she's the instructor, and it's that same kind of oh crap moment. But they play it so well, and you can tell with the way that it's filmed and the beats and everything else that it hits the same way. But just different enough, so it gives you that nostalgia, but still adds to the new current story.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anyone else was like, okay, I really like that. I really like that. Like, you're going scene by scene. I like that. I like that. But we're still holding our breath for when Val Kilmer is supposed to be out.
Yes.
Like, what are they going to do? Because like they could have just as easily had his character not in the movie at all.
Yeah.
And what Tom Cruise and the director did for Val Kilmer in this movie is, the minute that I understood what was happening, and then the minute that they had their moment on screen together, I was like, that's it. Like, this is a masterpiece of a movie.
Yeah.
Like this, what they did for him and how they brought those, not only the actor him, but his character full circle in this moment, for me was like the icing on top of the cake. They could have just easily said, okay, he's in charge. There's his picture on the wall. We don't need to have him involved. And if you've watched the Val documentary about Val Kilmer, you'll understand very quickly. And if you haven't, it's streaming. You can watch it for free. He is an actor through and through, and he tries to keep going, even though he really can't talk. Right. And I just thought it was so right on for me.
Yeah.
And that's the part that made me super emotional, because those two characters in this franchise, for me are the two most memorable, and at that time when they're both coming up as actors, they're, we grew up with them. And so I just thought that moment of them together, and him now telling Maverick, he's like, I'm not a teacher. And he's like, you're the only one that can teach this. All that crap that you put us through basically back in the day, like all this stuff that we did to each other, that's exactly why you are the best person to do this.
Yeah, I read an interview where they said Tom Cruise immediately said, if Val Kilmer won't do it, then we're not doing it.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't make this movie without him. But I did read a funny interview with the director, and the director came up with the idea for the story, and he pitched it to Jerry Bruckheimer, the producer of course, the original, and he's gone on to do Pirates of the Caribbean and a bunch of Michael Bay films, and he's a big deal. Well, Jerry Bruckheimer said, I like the story. Well, you should go talk to Tom. And they flew out where Tom was filming one of the Mission Impossibles in Paris, and they met with him, and the director lays out his vision. And he said, I'm not kidding you. Tom Cruise pulled out his cell phone, made a phone call to the head of Paramount Pictures and said, I'm ready to do another Top Gun movie. And that movie was greenlit from that moment on.
Wow.
And so the director said, he goes, this is how the business works. Tom Cruise says what he wants. The studio says what they want. Then Tom Cruise gets what he wants.
Yeah. I mean, but he has a proven track record of bringing in the money. And that's the difference, is like, if Tom Cruise says that he's going to make another Batman movie,
Right.
It'll get made. But
Yeah.
if Warner Brothers says, "Hey, we want to make another Batman movie," there's a bunch of strings that
Yeah.
would be, you know, like
Yeah.
that's the difference.
There's few people, including heads of studios, that have the pull that Tom Cruise has, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
And he's earned it. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the thing, you know, when you go to see a Tom Cruise movie, and I'm not talking about whatever personal feelings you may have about him outside of it,
Yeah.
but when he's in a movie, he
He's
gives
giving you everything.
125%. You know, we talked about 110%. No, that's not enough for Tom Cruise. He's got to push it and give you more.
Yeah.
And he does. And you know he's going to bring his A game every time. And he does that in this movie. And he does, you know.
He brought his A game on the beach. Look at that man's body next to those teenagers.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to stop eating this popcorn. He's
should be
20
listening to
years
things
older
right
than
now.
me.
Yep.
And that was another scene that, again, obviously plays off of the volleyball scene, but they do it so well because it's like, it's like that scene, but it's different enough.
It's a little different. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I agree. Val Kilmer's scene, I was in tears at that point. I mean, it was and it was so, like, their relationship was so similar to what you saw, except 30 years additional to it, right? When he comes in and he says, you know, "Hey, Ice, what can I do for you?" And he has typed up there, "I want to talk about work." And he's like, "No, let's not. What can I do for you?" This is what, and that's so Iceman, right? Like, no, this is what I want to do. I want to talk about, this is what you can do for me. But it was so powerful, just awesome. And I wasn't sure what they would do because they were texting back and forth, and I thought, is this all? And I get it, health reasons and everything else, and so it was great to see him.
And I really like the fact that they just briefly alluded to cancer. Like, he just says it's back, and she's like, "Yeah, nobody knows," and then they just move on. Like, you didn't have to have this big, because the scene is big enough by itself. The emotional impact of those two,
it says everything it needs to.
Absolutely.
And then when he actually talks, like, I just like. Yeah, at that moment, I was like, this movie is fantastic. Like, this is, and I want to go see it again, like a few more times in the IMAX theater. Like, it was really cool because, like, this is a movie that I remember watching with my dad. I remember watching, you know, over and over again. And so I got to take my dad and Dave to the pre-screening, and all three of us walked out of the movie. And Jeff Whipple, who we all know at Megaplex, he's like, he's like, "So what'd you think?" And I'm like, "Can we watch it again right now?" And he's like, "Yeah, like, re-rack," you know, like I literally would have sat down again right after watching it. I would have used the restroom first and then sat down again and watched it again right then.
Yeah. My dad is not a big movie guy. Like, we'll take him to the movie and he'll watch it and enjoy it, but he'll forget about it almost immediately after.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't remember anything about the original Top Gun. So I had to give him like little bits and pieces, and he doesn't remember actors or movie quotes or anything like that. And when the movie was done yesterday, he was like, "That was so much fun. I want to do it again." He's like, I was not ready for how intense this movie is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Now, is Maverick, like, he's now officially Jedi level pilot, right?
Yes.
He owned that plane that he's cleaning throughout the entire movie. That's his plane.
That's his own. Yeah. And they
but
let him pilot that one. They wouldn't let him fly the F-18s.
Weird.
No, I mean, that's weird. Government, like, even Tom Cruise can't
do that. Yeah.
But the whole run, I mean, so much like the Death Star. Even the little thing that they're trying to shoot is the same size and everything else.
And then when they're giving their call
Maverick
signs,
is now officially a better pilot than Luke Skywalker.
Dagger 1,
and it's fine. I'm fine with it.
Dagger 2 in position.
Yeah. Yes. All of it.
I still don't want to see him as Iron Man, though. I don't care.
No, I don't think I don't
That's
want to
the rumor,
either.
is that
I know.
Yeah. And I'm like, stop
that was
it.
mostly for Doctor Strange.
I know, but like, I don't, as much as I love him as an action actor, like, no.
So
no.
Here's my thought on him being in the MCU in any capacity. He doesn't need the MCU. And right now the MCU doesn't need Tom Cruise. Like, it's not mutually beneficial for like
No.
they both benefit, sure, like people would be excited and happy, whatever, and he would do fine and whatever, but he doesn't he's got his own stuff going on.
I would have been fine with him being part of the Illuminati and then getting killed by Scarlet Witch. I think that would have been kind of fun, but I don't need a full movie with him. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I am excited about his the trailer the same weekend that Top Gun came out. The trailer for Mission Impossible came out. And I mean, I'll watch every Mission Impossible he makes. Like it's, you know,
it's like it's this generation's James Bond.
Yeah, that they played the trailer when I went and saw the movie, and I was like, I'm in on that one too. I'm just in on Tom Cruise right now, just 100%, whatever. Tom, I'm your guy. Just, you know,
you can be his wingman anytime.
He can be my wingman. I'll be his wingman. Whatever. You just call me up, Tom.
I did love that moment at the end of the Val Kilmer, where Val Kilmer's like, "So which one's the better pilot, me or you?" And Tom Cruise is like, "It's been a really nice moment.
Let's not ruin it.
Let's not ruin it."
And the other scene that I really thought was great is after he and Rooster have both been shot down and they're behind unknown enemy territory, you know, a rogue state, because you don't want to piss off any market that you might want to show this movie in.
Yes.
But he says, "What were you thinking?" And Rooster looks at him and goes, "You told me not to think." And then they both kind of stare at each other and he goes, "Ah!"
I mean,
works.
That moment was one of my favorites in the whole movie, because that's where the movie just went from, like, this whole thing seems really far-fetched anyway, which is fine. I'm here for it 100%. Right. That just vaulted it into like ridiculousness, because you knew at that moment they were going to go find one of the old F-14 Tomcats. They were going to bring it back home, and it was going to be him and Rooster in the cockpit together. And I'm like, I know this is all that's going to unfold, and that's ridiculous and amazing, and I'm 100% on board with it. They are single-handedly going to fight off the enemy somehow in this old plane, and I'm fine with that.
And I love they keep ratcheting up too. Like every time you think that they're like reaching the climax, they're like, "Nope, here's something else. He's out of missiles, he's out of flares, he's out of bullets."
Yep.
And then Hangman shows up, and I liked the guy who played Hangman quite a bit. I'd be interested to see more of what he does.
Yeah, he's another one of those other actors that it's hit and miss. It's hit and miss for me, because along with Miles, he kind of sometimes in the stories that he's been put in, the characters that he's been put in, he plays it exactly how you would think. But he was in Hidden Figures. He was in The Dark Knight Rises. What was the one
I recognized him, but I couldn't think of where I had seen him from. So
he was in a movie that I saw recently where he was like one of the main characters, and I've been trying to figure out which one it was, because he is a good actor, but again, it's a hit and miss for me, because sometimes he just plays it exactly how you think it's going to be. He's going to be in Jurassic World, the new movie that's coming out. So he's in both, or no, he was in Jurassic World, sorry, the 2020 version of it. So he's in two really big franchises.
His first movie was Spy Kids 3D Game Over. He was
three really big franchises.
Hey,
Spy Kids, Jurassic World, and I know it's huge.
And also Ride Along. He was in Ride Along too.
The Expendables 3.
He was.
I don't watch Expendables.
I liked the Hangman character, because you needed that character in there to kind of take that Iceman role of somebody that you just wanted to punch in the face, and he was definitely that.
Oh character. Yeah, he's got that face.
Yeah, like he's got it. Like
he's got the punchable face.
And that was our thing.
Sir. I'm very good.
And then the female pilot was really good.
I liked her. Yeah,
and Bob, the two of them together, like
Bob. I just love what's your call sign, Bob.
No, what's your call sign,
Bob?
Bob. Yeah,
Bob.
But he was really good at his. I mean, Bob was great.
I get it, baby on board.
And you have John Hamm, and you have Ed Harris.
Oh,
I mean,
I've got a funny thing for you. I was watching, I think it was on Stephen Colbert, and John Hamm came on, and he said his agent called him and said, we got a call from Jerry Bruckheimer. They're interested in you being in the next Top Gun. And John Hamm said, I'm in. And he said, well, we don't know what you're going to get paid. We don't know what the role is. We don't know the time commitment. We don't have any of that. And he said, I don't care. It's Top Gun.
Yeah.
I'm in this movie. You make it happen. I don't care what else you have to do.
By the way, Jerry Bruckheimer, if you're listening, if you call my agent and offer me any role in Top Gun, I am also in. I don't need details. You don't even have to pay me. I'll fly myself out for the production.
Be like Tom Cruise and fly yourself out.
Yeah.
I thought John Hamm was excellent, though. I really liked him playing that straight-laced military guy that butts up against Maverick, because you need that against that Maverick character.
Yeah. And again, I don't think his character was very meaty.
No, but
no.
Very really thin, paper thin character, especially for John Hamm, because he's played, he's had these characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so for me, if you really want to be picky, if you jump out of any character other than Maverick or Rooster in this movie, it's going to be thin. You're going to get it's pretty thin, but it all worked for me because the people that they had playing these characters made you care, because they are all these actors were really good at what they do. They made you care about them. And so it didn't matter, because sometimes you can get a movie and you've got these complex characters and they're all there, but it doesn't work. Like, it still doesn't work. And so for me, I have more respect for this, because they're like, here, your character is described in 3 sentences.
But I'm going to make that a memorable character. I'm going to stand out and you're going to remember me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you all think about the Lady Gaga song for the movie?
I thought it was good, not great. I think Take My Breath Away is going to be the bigger of the two. And that's a hard one to top. But this didn't feel to me like it will become that cultural impact that Take My Breath Away had.
Mm-hmm.
My feeling on it is, as you said that, I'm sitting here trying to think what the song was that Lady Gaga did. So for me, it didn't distract from the movie, nor did it add much to it, like a lot of the songs in the original Top Gun soundtrack have. Now, to be fair, the original Top Gun soundtrack has 35 years on this one. Right. So I need time with this one, but it was fine.
Yeah. And Tom Cruise had an interview that he did about the song, and he said that he heard the song and then he immediately called Lady Gaga and said, this is what we needed to complete this vision, and that he cried when he heard the song.
Well,
so
if that's how Tom felt, then I'm song.
Well, I was going to say, watching it
to be mine. We're all in this together. What's that?
Sorry, I broke in there. But watching this the second time, I did notice that they took little bits and orchestrated bits of her song into the soundtrack, and then of course it plays at the end. I think it's playing when he comes into the bar to pay off his tab in the morning. It's like quietly playing in the background type of thing. Yeah. But I thought it was good. I saw Kenny Loggins. They talked about doing a new version of Danger Zone, and they just decided, you know what, we'll just let that one go. But they
when
did
you have musical perfection, what are you going to do to it?
They did re-record though, Playing with the Boys, and they almost used that during the football scene. But it didn't. I went and found it and listened to it. It's not really that good. I don't think it would have worked.
And that would have crossed over the line a little bit, where we talked about the way they did the nostalgia was really good. That may have pushed it.
I also think we're in a different time now, because there were also females there. And that scene back in the 80s was, it's all about the boys club. Mm-hmm. And I really like how, there was only a few females, but we just had, I think in the news last week, our first female graduate of some Air Force, something cool. A major pilot. I don't know. I will find that for sure. But it still is a little bit of a boys club, but the fact that they have it very much, they added some female characters, and I really like the woman that is in there, and she didn't have to be anybody's love interest.
Right.
No. I was waiting for it, and I'm like, please don't do it. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. And
there were moments where I felt like they were hinting at maybe something between her and Rooster, but it
Mhm.
seemed like in the end it was just mutual admiration for their
I bet you
skills and accomplishments.
I bet you in Top Gun Rooster, she and Bob end up together.
I don't want that to happen. I wouldn't mind if Top Gun Rooster happened, but I don't want that to happen. I want her and Bob to be Pilot and Rio. Like, they don't need to be anything more than that just because one's a boy and one's a girl. Like, I hate that in movies when it's like, oh, these two are developing a really good relationship and friend.
Therefore,
Gonna hook up because one's a boy, one's a girl. Why does it have to mean that? Because if it means that, then that means every time that two guys are getting along really well, that means they have to hook up.
yeah.
Okay,
Because
so
that's just what happens.
I want to get this right.
Okay.
Okay.
Army's first woman combat aviator.
Oh,
Because there's been women in the Air Force for a long time, but she was the Army's first woman combat aviator.
cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's huge. And what's interesting, you bring that up. When I was watching it, I thought it's weird that they only had one female pilot in this because of, movies are typically a lot more sensitive to that now, which is good. But then I thought, but doesn't that make a statement in and of itself that, like, that's probably fairly accurate that there would only be one female pilot? And
yeah, because this is the top 1% of the top.
Yeah.
1%.
Yeah, they picked the best of the best of the best to come back and do this mission.
Yeah.
So I get it. The percentage is correct that out of all of that, there would be one woman because, but that's changing and I liked it. So I think if they would have used that song, it would have ruined the moment for me because when this movie was made, it was very much a boys club movie. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. Like, I don't go back and hate the way things were made because of the time, especially because I don't think this movie was sexist in any way, the original, because their commander, their person in charge was a female. So during that time to have her come in and they all were, just totally hitting on her at the bar before they knew. And then she shows up and they're in charge. Like, that put him in check right away. But I also think that storyline during that time also probably made a lot of males feel uncomfortable. Like, this woman's in charge in this movie. That wouldn't really be a thing. Well, it is. So get your crap together. Right.
And she was the one that he picked to fly with him.
Yeah.
Instead of Hangman. Hangman was stuck on deck.
Yep.
Which killed him, which was awesome. Again, wanted to punch him right in the face. So having him have to wait. I love, though, at the very end when they're all congratulate. Because I love the Top Gun congratulations scene at the end that you have in both of them now. And, he's talking about how he shot down another couple. And she's like, yeah, Maverick shot down 5 now. That makes him an ace. Like, oh, man.
Never forget, this is about Maverick and Tom Cruise. That is what this movie is about. That's his thesis statement right there.
Listen, they didn't even hide it. The title is Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
If you came in thinking this was about the new pilots, why? They told you with the title what this was about.
The other line that killed me, and I really feel like there's these moments with Tom Cruise, like we've already mentioned, where you get like this little bit of real acting from him. And when I think it's when John Hamm, or no, it's when the original guy, the test pilot, after the test pilot thing, Ed Harris. I almost said Ed Asner, and that would have been completely different. When Ed Harris is like, you're a dying generation and you're not going to be relevant anymore. And he looks at him and goes, that might be true, but not today. And I'm like, I think that's Tom Cruise's mindset. I think he realizes I can't keep doing this, but now I still can, and I'm going to.
Yeah.
Listen, if your name is Tom and you're an overachiever in your field, you just keep going as long as you want. Tom Cruise, Tom Brady, it doesn't matter.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Tom and Jerry.
Another example of a Tom.
Wasn't there a Tom from like MySpace or Facebook that originally was all of our friends?
Yes, MySpace. That's right.
All right, let's grade this movie.
Oh, man.
Tomcat. I can keep going.
Tomcat. Yes.
Tom Jones. Tracy, what are you going to grade this movie? Wait.
Tom Bombadil.
Yes. Tom Bombadil.
I did that just for you being the Lord of the
Remember
Rings fan you are.
I know, but he's such a controversial topic. Should he have been in the movie? Should he not have been? No, he shouldn't have been. That's my stance, and I'm sticking with it.
I'm with
Tracy,
yes.
what would you grade Top Gun Maverick?
This to me was such a fun movie. Like I said, see it in the theater, see it on an IMAX screen. It's just really enjoyable. It's got a lot more heart than I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be fun, but there's a lot of good story in there, even though the plot is thin. But the camera work is exquisite. And if this doesn't win for cinematography, whatever's coming down the pike that's going to beat it, it better be pretty amazing. I had a blast with it. I'm going to give this one an A. It just works for me on all levels.
Awesome.
Plot holes and all, I'll take it. It's an A for me.
Solid A for me. Just jumping in there. Solid A. A for Avalanche. A for Tom Cruise. A for Maverick. A for action film.
When we started the review and you said, no, I'm going to get all the hate mail. It's like, did Val hate this movie?
No,
I know. I was
better
nervous.
than the original. I think it's better, and I think it'll hold up better than the original. I'm not saying I hate the original. I watched it the day before. The day that I went to go see this movie, I watched the original, and then I went to see the movie, and I still enjoyed it. But I do think for me that I would watch this one more, and I will watch it more. So.
Yeah. My name, call sign is Smiley. Obviously, I think Tom, my wingman, is going to be all smiles after this because we are giving it AAA. This is a AAA rated movie. Top Gun Maverick, absolutely. It was just fun. And I get it. I mentioned that the plot was a little bit thin and everything else, but I don't care.
Nope.
I really don't. This works for me on every level. And I just enjoyed it. If you love Top Gun, go see this movie. If you love Top Gun and you haven't seen this movie, I don't know what you're waiting for. You should definitely go see it. I do love, though, how this is highlighting how the demographic has changed. If you remember when the Top Gun VHS came out, there was a commercial at the beginning for Diet Pepsi, choice of a new generation.
Yes.
And it just made Diet Pepsi look really cool and hip because that's what Pepsi was going for. The commercial for this one, the major franchise, is Applebee's. Take that for what it is. Yes,
it is. Yeah,
I didn't even notice.
They have Top Gun buzzing the tower of the Applebee's, and the people are trying to drink their beer, and it's getting knocked over. And
I guess I don't watch commercials anymore. I haven't seen it.
There's a waitress that's like Maverick.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that is, they know their target demographic.
If you spend $25 at Applebee's, you get a free ticket to see Top Gun Maverick.
I mean, I'd do it.
Yeah,
or I would just
want to
go buy
us, would be fine.
more tickets. Yeah, sponsor us.
Oh yeah, we're not picky about who sponsors us.
Nope.
I mean, we're a little bit picky.
We are a little bit picky. We do get the solicitation on Instagram every once in a while. Hey, you'd be perfect to present our handmade jewelry. I don't know what you think our show has to do with it, but all right. But Top Gun Maverick, awesome. Go see it. We will be back next week with another episode that I'm sure will be equally good to this one.
We need to get back to planning our.
Yeah, we do. And
we've been
in
like
the meantime,
we've been flying by the seat of our pants.
It works for him. Listen, if it works for my guy Tom.
So Steven's Val's guy, you got Tom. I got to find somebody.
I thought you had Guillermo.
Yeah, I thought Guillermo was your guy. That's right.
I'll take Guillermo. Okay. All right.
You'll take Guillermo. You'll settle for Guillermo.
You saw that I got to hug
Doug Jones.
Doug Jones.
Yes, that was cool. He's a good guy.
He really is.
Like I bought, when he came to FantasyCon, I bought some Pan's Labyrinth lobby cards. And the lady at the table said, pick which one you want him to sign. And so I started going through them. He's like, no, I'll sign them all. Don't worry about it. And he signed every single one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Signed all of them. There was like 5 in the pack, signed them all, and then gave me a big hug. And
I hadn't seen him since FantasyCon, which now has been a really long time. And then when he was there, he's at this restaurant, and I'm like, dang, like I really want to go say hi, but I hate interrupting people when they're at dinner. And so I messaged our good friend Larry Curtis, who also knows him. And I said, dude, like Doug Jones is here. And he's like, you've got to go say hi. You just do it. And I said, but, and he's like, Val, He won't mind. You need to go do it. He said, tell him hi for me. And I went over there and he remembered Fantasy Con when I brought it up.
So cool.
Like he said specific things about it instead of just being,
That's
yeah, I
so
remember.
cool.
How you
Yeah,
doing?
totally.
I didn't say where it was from. He's like, so do you still live in Utah? Like, so he
That's
knew.
cool.
That's awesome.
He
cool.
said, say hi to Larry. Like, and he gave me a big hug. And yeah, so I was just like, come on, FanX, you got to get him here. Like, we got to get him back to Utah.
Yes.
By the way, when I travel outside of Utah, most people that I run into say, "Oh, say hi to Larry for me." So that's just the way it goes.
I mean, he's amazing. So
yeah, that's his reputation precedes him wherever.
Love you, Larry.
Love you, Larry.
All right, so there you go. Let us know what you thought about Top Gun Maverick. You can leave comments in the video in the comment section below. You can also email us at podcast@moviesthatmakeus.com, or you can tweet at us at moviesmakeus. And until July 21st, we won't see you at the movies.
Way to the danger zone.
This has been a Stolen Droids Media production.